Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ken Frederick Podcast. This is episode 27, the KFP B Movie Review. Wink. So, the Avengers Grimm.
If you watched our Facebook Live, you would know what we're talking about.
Yes. So, since you already heard Don, and to the right of me, I have Justin.
Hello.
All right.
Did you stumble across us on anything?
I think they did. they stumbled across us on the interwebs.
Yeah.
And you can check us out at kfpodcast.com, facebook.com/kfpodcast, and Ken Fred Podcast on the Twitter. Please like, share, subscribe, invite.
Do it.
Because then if we have 100 followers on YouTube or subscribers, we can do cool things.
Yeah, like put pictures of Justin in the buff.
Yeah, we can even do more videos.
Of Justin in the buff.
No.
I like to think that there's a place called The Buff, and it'd just be a picture of him inside this like building called The Buff. All right, anyways.
So what movie are we reviewing?
We're reviewing The Avengers Grimm.
Which is the worst movie ever made.
So, a little backstory. One of my favorite podcasts, and I'll give them a shout out because we just put.
Yeah, they need more subscribers.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted them fine. I wanted to do it. But we ripped off another podcast.
No, go ahead. What is it?
How Did This Get Made? They do a lot of like bad movie reviews.
With the guys from The League.
The League, yeah. Mm-hmm. So check them out. They're on
FX.
Yeah. But so we decided, hey, we all have Netflix. We all like horrible movies. So let's.
And I picked this movie. Me and Ken were looking through movies last week, and there's a ton of them that are shit out there.
Oh, they're so good.
But I picked this one because Casper Van Dien was starring in it. Now, if you don't know Casper Van Dien, he was from the movie Starship Troopers.
Yes. Which
was like a serious attempt at making like the new sci-fi, the new Star Wars, as they put it.
Yep.
And it's one of the worst movies ever made, too.
Oh.
It's cheese. It's horrible. Doogie Howser's in it. It's really bad.
Is he still going by Doogie? Can we?
No, he's what's
actually
his name?
NPH.
NPH is in it.
He's actually a good actor.
But Casper Van Dien's hilarious to me because he, I think, tries to be so serious, and he's so bad in every movie he's in.
He was over the top.
No one has ever gone up to him and going, Casper, it just ain't happening, man. You know, CVD. It's just time to hang it up and become something else.
So Casper Van Dien in this movie is the main villain.
He's Rumpelstiltskin. So tell us the plot of the movie, if you remember it. Or do you want
is there a plot of this movie?
No, I actually just watched it.
All right.
So I probably watched it the most recent. So I'll explain. The plot is somehow, it's not explained, Rumpelstiltskin finds out that the mirror on the wall can teleport him to another world and so it can teleport. And it has magical power.
Well,
a world without magic.
Well, I think also this, not to interrupt you, but this is also a little bit of the show Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time on ABC has this same thing. There's a world without magic where these like fairy tale people are all running rampant, Snow White and Rumpelstiltskin and all that, and they come to the real world and they live in this town called Storybrooke. They're not superheroes, but like they have powers and they're tough, and Rumpelstiltskin's a bad guy. It completely bites that whole storyline off. Why is
Rumpelstiltskin a bad guy?
They always make him a bad guy.
Because he's kind of a bad guy in the fairy tale.
I actually wikied it, and I got so upset after the movie, I just didn't care anymore.
Well, it's a stupid nursery rhyme.
Yeah, didn't he just fall asleep for a long time? And also, it's very hard for me not to say.
Well, wait. Rip Van Winkle was the one who fell asleep for a long time.
Rumpelstiltskin did what?
Rumpelstiltskin is the one who does the riddles, and you have to...
No riddles in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, no riddles.
That's because this movie, again, is solely based on that TV show, where Rumpelstiltskin is like, they call him the Dark One. Saber watches the show. He's the Dark One. He's the evil, like, wizard. Okay. He tricks everybody. And Snow White's one of the main antagonists or protagonists or whatever. And it's her and, like, different princesses who have stories.
Yeah, even Cinderella in this one was kind of a bitch.
Well, so this movie, then, all these characters.
So it took me a long time to figure out who the one chick was.
It's Snow White.
Snow White's the main person.
She's the queen.
And she is a raging bitch in this
movie.
Yeah,
you're right.
She's a horrible person.
She is an awful person.
Oh, it's so bad.
So bad.
There's Snow White.
Cinderella.
Well, I didn't realize that was Cinderella.
She's not lowering.
She, for some reason, is a different nationality, has purple hair, and heals people except for Snow White at the end of the movie when she dies by getting stabbed in her own chest by the ice pick.
Did she heal people?
Yeah, she was saving people from the wrath stuff.
Yeah, but she was fixing the magic. She wasn't healing them. She said she was healing them.
Let's get back to her for a minute because you have Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, who had a metal ball
and red hair.
She had hair powers, where all she did, she had a long piece of hair with a ball on the end of it, where she was hitting people.
That's like there's like a martial arts weapon that is like the chain in something, and that's what it was, but it was her hair.
Yeah, so weird. But also, where was that giant 10-pound metal ball when it wasn't having hair?
It just appeared.
Well, they could have made her like Medusa from the Inhumans and had like tentacle hair, but instead it was just a stupid.
They did not have the special effects budget for that.
Well, which we'll get into.
Then
later.
you had Sleeping Beauty. That all she did was just knock people out,
which was great because one person she even tried to. It's like, oh, you didn't go to sleep yet? Let's do it again.
Yeah. Snow White had ice powers, but all she really did was just make icicle knives.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, she did one other thing where she sub-zeroed the floor, and Lou Ferrigno slipped out of the
Poor Lou Ferrigno. We'll get to him. Hold on, patience.
But the best was they just showed the CGI of him sliding through the wall out the window, going, ah! And then 10 minutes later, he's back on the floor again. He took the elevator back.
So all these people, they gave them powers.
Oh, Little Red Riding Hood.
Well, yeah, we'll get to her. So all these people, they gave them powers. Little Red Riding Hood didn't have, they just called her Red. She just had a bow and arrow.
Because she was a peasant.
Yeah, she was a hunter.
Those four had, quote unquote, in the movie, princess powers.
Yeah.
And I was like, WTF, princess powers?
So,
I took notes on this.
So wait, this is the great part. Cinderella, everybody they tried to give a power to. So they were like Snow White, ice. Yeah. They were like Rapunzel, hair power. Sleeping Beauty, she knocked you to sleep. Cinderella, reality warping powers. She had reality warping powers. She turned a shard of glass into a sword.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does she? Maybe because of like the pumpkin got turned into
it was very loosely,
It was very terrible, but she had reality warping powers and never used them properly.
No,
that's
at all.
Because they only did try to sneak into places, but they didn't. Oh, she could change the way her clothes looked.
Yeah.
Which you get 4. They look like porn stars.
They did.
The whole time, I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, are they going to take their tops off now? Like, what is going on here?
My favorite scene is like they're all wearing clothes that I didn't realize was to the time period. They're like, you need to fit in. Look at these fashion magazines. So these 4 porn star looking girls then go wearing barely any clothes and leather. And I'm like, oh, that's going to,
That's inconspicuous.
Yeah, seriously.
And Cinderella's reality warping powers in the one scene, there's a bunch of like zombie creatures coming at her. So she pulls 2 curtains together, morphs them into a fence. I was like, why don't you make a brick wall, bitch, so that they can't get through that fence? It's the stupidest power. But these people, they all come, and there's the big bad wolf.
Oh,
who just looks like a guy with breathing heavy, growling.
Oh, it's just worst.
They were like the wolf,
effects.
that meat suit that he's wearing. He's inside a human suit. Like, why don't he break out of that and become a wolf? Because we don't have the production budget for him.
I love that he's in a meat suit.
He's in a meat suit. He was horrible. So they all, Cinderella, or Snow White and Rumpelstiltskin come into the real world.
Because
they're there for an indefinite amount of time.
I actually wrote this down. Okay. So I was like, did I miss something? Like, because I was just randomly typing in the notebook while I was doing this. And it said, what is happening? What's the time frame? And then as soon as I wrote that, someone goes, how long's it been? And she goes,
long enough.
Too long.
Too long.
And I go, oh, thanks, bitch. Why don't you just answer a question straight? God damn. Just because you're mystical Snow White.
And then when the other girls arrive here, the world, Rumpelstiltskin rules L.A.
As the mayor. Rules everything.
And everybody's under his power, and Snow White's like a rebel. And I love the line when the princesses arrive, they're arresting that guy.
Yeah, Jack.
Which
whatever. Is like Jack of Fables, I think is like kind of.
And they go, we're looking for Snow White. And he says, Snow White, you don't find Snow White, she finds you. Then she pulls up in a red
brand new Camaro.
I'm like, it's so stupid. They're like, get in a car. They don't even know what a car is, but they're like, oh, that's fine. We'll just get in a car.
There's things that they should know about, like how they know that was called Earth at the end. Like, I guess we're stuck here on Earth.
Yeah.
Like, where did you find like that at all of a sudden?
Oh, it's so bad. All right, so tell us about Lou Ferrigno's character.
All right, so Lou Ferrigno is the character.
Bastard. Iron John.
Iron John, who, from what I got from the movie, worked on a building that the mayor decided not to build anymore. So all of Iron John's men that were construction workers didn't have anywhere to work.
He was just a simple contractor, and took his job.
And he was a gang leader.
He was a gang leader, and his minions like almost romantically loved him because they were all like, "Is John okay? Oh, poor John!" And they're like all worried about him.
Yeah.
They're not like, he's such a nice gang leader.
He's the most. He has the best stock options. For
Well,
a gang leader.
they made him out to be like a Don, like mob Don,
Right.
And then when they finally walk up to his place, he walks out in like overalls with a sledgehammer.
And he's just working on non-specific things.
Yeah, he's just like pounding with a sledgehammer.
So then they take this guy and they give him powers.
Rumpelstiltskin
Gives him powers.
by touching his arm.
When he touches his arm and they start CGIing like this metal, I thought we were going to get like a really bad Colossus.
Oh, they blew their...
They spray painted him silver. It was all
Spray painted his face and his arms, not his hands because he was wearing gloves then.
Yeah.
They covered up all the parts that they knew would wear off with the paint.
and it looked like spray paint.
Oh,
it was so horrible. And when he was walking, they were making a clanking metal sound.
The first time he talks, because I watched it on closed caption.
Yeah.
So it said robotic voice.
Yeah.
They gave him an effing robotic voice for the first time, realized it was dumb, and never again. They got that shit out of there after the first time they did it. They're like,
God.
oh, he can't talk. It doesn't make any sense.
He was like, I think you should. Then they were like, it went back to talking normal.
Yeah.
And the paint job was horrible.
So bad.
I would have rather than they wrapped him in tinfoil than spray paint.
Well, there's some great things whenever he's truly Iron John, because the four girls escape through the window and he sees them just up on a roof. He goes, let's get out of here. They're gone now. They're literally one level above you, Iron John. Just go up there with your minions and get them.
Iron John was horrible.
It was so bad.
So then they kept referencing to anybody that's under the control of Rumple was thralls.
Thralls.
So all these people come
thralls.
through these portals that he's opening.
But
with some horrible scenes. I mean, it was like barbarian creatures running through the city scaring people.
Yeah.
And they're like, they have swords and there's people being scared. And then they have this police officer.
The black guy or
the black guy. He gets thralled or whatever, or turned into a zombie by Rumple.
But Cinderella used some healing powers.
And then the white cop is like, oh, what an ass he is, and it locks him away. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
And then he gets cured, and he's one of the worst actors I've ever seen in my life.
Bad.
He's so horrible. And the bad cop, I mean, oh my God, the acting.
Who's worse, the black cop or the mayor's assistant?
The mayor's, her name is Jessica, I think.
Jessica.
Yeah, she
was such a ditz.
Over the top, like, hey,
She was another one that I thought, well, maybe there's going to be a scene where she just gets him out.
Yeah.
And Casper Van Dien nails her.
Yeah, motorboat.
There should have been some kind of sex scene in it.
That was the acting level of that was of those Cinemax like softcore porn.
It was because it was almost like the acting was like, just get through the scene because everybody's going to get their clothes off and start banging. That's what we really want to see. But no one did that.
Yeah.
They were like taking themselves serious.
I've never felt like in a movie there was so little explained, but there was so long to get to the end.
Oh my God!
I'm like, I felt like
I didn't understand what was going on with the glass portal and the.
Why did it like the beginning started so abruptly, like that Rumpelstiltskin already had forces and was going to take the mirror, but then they got transported.
Yeah, it was almost like this was a sequel to something,
or like it started in the middle, but it was started in the middle of a horrible 6-hour-long movie.
Oh,
and then the other problem is, so when they went through the mirror the first time, the mirror broke, was shattered.
Yes.
And it had a piece of the mirror.
Yeah, stuck in her back.
Yeah. But then later on, when he creates the portal for to get his army through into Earth, they don't need the mirror. Because Red had the mirror and he just made the portal anyway. And the portal was just in a wall.
No. He had the shard. The metal the shard that Red had was the Cinderella reality warping gem. So when you see Red with
it's so confusing.
Okay, if I get this right.
She had the shard at first, and then Lou Ferrigno got it off her and gave it to him. Then she had the fake shard.
There was a sword to kill the wolf.
That's right.
And the worst death scene ever.
Oh God, yeah.
It's so anticlimactic.
But even if he had the shard, he didn't keep the shard. Like he was just like zap. There's a portal, and then it was done.
Justin, I don't think they were too worried about continuing.
If one shard, now does the size of the door matter on the size of the shard?
I don't know. We're getting way too deep. Let's talk about these checks for a minute, because So
I have so many problems with the shard. Because...
Oh, the shard! Enough with the shard. It's dumb. So me and him were talking about this in the car. I thought the girl that played Little Red Riding Hood looked like an uglier version of Olivia Munn.
Yes,
she looked like her sister.
And sometimes I'd be like, she's okay. And then there's times they're like, oh.
Yeah. Sometimes I'd be like, it's kind of like Olivia Munn. The next time I'd be like,
And it's almost dark, and she had a hood on.
And what's funny about that, to tie that together, is the girl that played Cinderella. When you look up her in the IMDb, she's dressed as Psylocke.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, on IMDb.
From some kind of like video game convention.
That's hilarious.
So it's like you have a girl that looks like Olivia Munn and a girl that looks like Psylocke all together in the same movie.
And I've never seen more plastic than the Snow White chick. Like, I don't look up any of the actress's name, but Snow White looked
She was the worst actress I've ever seen in my life.
And why?
And she was such a bitch. Like, Red Riding Hood was trying to, like, avenge her family.
Yeah.
And only Cinderella liked her, and she's like, that peasant.
Yeah, and, like, everyone hated her.
And apparently whatever kingdom she was from, her father had, like, a big-ass army that was just sitting back on his heels, not doing shit about it.
Cinderella's army or whatever, right?
No, Sleeping Beauties.
Yeah, she's like, my dad's got
an army, but we can't bring him over because, storytelling convenience.
Yeah. And she was, like, probably out of the four, the most attractive out of all of them. But she was also, they're just all horrible people.
And I kind of felt like the whole thing with Red Riding Hood was almost like trying to get Batman to join the Justice League.
Like Wolverine trying to join the Wolverine somewhere.
Wolverine trying to join, like, the X-Men or whatever. Like, they're not sure they want him because she's like, I work alone. And then she's like, I'm not joining your crew.
Yeah.
And then she's over there and like, I'm not with you. And then at the end, she's like, let's do this together.
Yeah.
She finally comes along, and I'm like, oh, yay. Red's a part of the team. I could give a shit.
I thought we were going to get one group superhero team shot.
Yeah.
Or like, all right, here's the four princesses. There's Red, and there's Iron John in the back.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Iron John switches sides and breaks the wall and has a building fall.
Yeah. And that closed the portal.
And then
the portal would still be open.
Yeah, it would.
And then they do the another spoiler alert, the Batman v Superman ending, where Snow White dies, but then she just wakes up at the end.
Which I was confused. I actually had to watch that again, which is sad that I actually rewind. I thought that was Snow White, but I'm like, that could just be some chick with jizz in her eyes because it was all crusted over. Her face was all weirdly crusted over.
It was so dumb. So Snow White kills Rumple because he has a blade to her neck. And then she makes an ice dagger and stabs. They do that whole thing. She stabs herself to stab him, which has been done.
That must have been a really, really long icicle.
Yeah, because all the other ones were
forced convenience because she kept saying, "It's like, do you think the one's better than one is larger than your kingdom?" And
could one die for all?
And the kingdom's more than one person.
God, it was so bad. And then they're all just like, "Oh, she's dead." Okay.
Yeah.
And then they have to do that ridiculous thing where Rumpelstiltskin jumps in the portal, and she throws her hair at him and pulls him in, and they're all holding them.
And I liked it. What was the Sleeping Beauty supposed to do with the mirror, the shard of mirror, which will get to why I'm annoyed by it.
Yeah, she had to step on it.
She stepped on the shard, broke it, but the shard was already broken. That size shard made a full-size doorway. Why wouldn't all those other shards?
You're never going to get over this shard, are you?
A full-size doorway.
Let it go.
And I want Avengers Grimm too, because what happened? Is Snow White really alive?
Well, of course, she woke up at the end. She's in some crypt, like Mr. Freeze.
I don't think
frozen.
it was. I think it was a morgue.
Well, did the black cop take her there? Because he said he was going to take care of her.
Yeah.
Did he take her to her? His
they didn't care about her at all.
Banging her in her stomach.
That got real dark
they're
real
just
quick.
Basically like, our friend died, our leader.
Yeah.
I'll take care of her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wink, wink, I got her. Leave her with me. And then they're all like, okay, we're just going to go live somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're going to... Remember the scene when they got the Avenger word in?
Oh,
they're like, we're not princesses of power.
We're Avengers.
They're like, no, you're not. You're crap. So, I mean, all in all, I don't know.
One last thing, because I have a thing about the shard.
Okay.
Why did the shard cut anyone's hand when they're holding it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because she turned it into a dagger. But
all right, we need to stop this. We are way over time on this.
Yeah, but here's what we're going to say. We're going to give this a rating.
Oh, no.
And what could we'll come up with something. No cheese whiz, no bandanas.
Oh, come on. All right, fine, whatever.
What could we give it?
Turds?
Turds.
And the higher the lower is the worse the movie is. Yeah, so it's like
higher the turds, the worse the movie is.
Sure.
So I'm gonna give this 5,000 turds.
Let's just do it's barely watchable.
It's barely watchable. It actually gave me a headache watching it. I was actually getting when I hit pause for a minute to get a drink. I was like, 45 minutes left, and I got like, I don't want to.
I did the same
I
thing.
quit this show and never do anything again.
I thought that I was watching it for 2 hours, and I looked at it, it's only half an hour.
No, I felt like someone had their finger in my ass, and I was being violated. I was like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like this.
So,
and you picked it.
Yeah. I know, it was terrible. And the bad thing about it is, I had to take my nanny to the ER last night, so I had to pause this shit with 20 minutes to go, sit at the ER for 7 hours, thinking about, I got to fit this in by today. I had to go home tired as hell and power through 20 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to just kill myself before this movie's over. So bad. Anyway, Grimm Avengers Grimm, don't go see this shit. Or don't watch it.
You should have watched it, and then you could have commiserated.
You don't like your kids? Make them watch this movie.
Hey, if they're going to like the Avengers, tell them that if you like the Avengers, you'll like this, and they won't.
If you like the Avengers, you won't like this.
And here, if you're going to watch this movie, get some booze and drink every time they say bitch. They say it about 106 times. They do.
So one last thing. If you have any movies that you've seen that are as horrible as this, post it in our wall. Tell us about it. We'll watch it and make fun of it.
Definitely. All the recommendations. You might also get something like this, but with music coming up here soon. So.
Okay, awesome.
All right, please like, share, subscribe, invite.
We out.
We out. Peace.